Well, do we have ourselves a little project here today? Got a 2018 Volkswagen Jetta with a 1.8 liter in it. This is Miss Celeste's car. She is very nice. So we're going to take a look at it for her. She's having a whole slew of problems. But most importantly, it runs terribly on cold start, and quite frankly, it doesn't seem to run very good once it's warmed up either. We're working under the patio today. I don't need this thing to go up in the air for this diag. We're going to do this on the top side of the engine here. So let's get hooked up and let's get to work. All right, so we have a bunch of codes. We got a map/mass airflow throttle position correlation code, intake air system leak code, an evap emission control system incorrect purge flow code, misfires on every cylinder, random misfire, evap leaks, cold start a camshaft position over advanced, camshaft position over advanced period, and system 2 rigid idle, which would be due to an over advanced camshaft. Yay. All right, so let's get into this timing system. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna check the VVT Solenoid first. Hey y'all, unfortunately I'm having to splice this in here. I did a terrible job of explaining this when I was recording it, but I want to make this very clear. So if you have the camshaft correlation codes and you have misfires on these Volkswagen 1.8 liters, before you do anything else, this is super easy to check. Just reach down here, squeeze this tab, and unplug this electromagnet here. That will put the cam in a default position, and if it smooths everything out, you know your problem is this electromagnet or this solenoid that we're about to change.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, so it's running terrible. Let's unplug the magnet. So apparently this will send it into like a default timing setting if we just unplug this adjuster. Look at that. No more surging, no more terrible timing. It's actually running well. No more misfires with that unplugged. There's our problem. We got ourselves a VVT Solenoid problem on this bad boy. Here we are back with the Volkswagen Jetta. You'll see it's not raining anymore. We're in front of the shop. Things are looking up. The part showed up, so we're gonna go ahead and change out this VVT Solenoid today. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. You saw earlier in the video, if you just unplug this electromagnet sensor here, you can determine real quickly whether or not this is where your problem is. So we're gonna get in here and change it today. We're gonna start, you go ahead and squeeze this plug with your thumb, unplug it, get that plug out of your way. It's a little warm right now, but we'll go ahead and make do. There is 3 T30 screws. You got one right here, one down here next to the dipstick, and one over here under this plug. So we're going to take all 3 of those out, and this electromagnet will slide right out of there. I'll also tell you the parts were not super easy to find, but I did find them. I think this part was from Amazon, which is the electromagnet, and this part was from Car Parts, or they may have both been from like carpart.com. Either way, I'll have links up here in the video and in the description, as well as the specialty tool on Amazon for sure, because there is a specialty tool involved in this. Let me get those 3 screws out, and then I'll show you what it looks like inside of there. All right, here we are. All 3 screws are removed. I will say that you're gonna need 2 hands and a small tool to get in there. I use this 1/4-inch drive with a small 1/4-inch drive T30 on it, and you'll pull these coolant hoses kind of back if you don't want to take them out, and I'd recommend not. So you just pull them back with your left hand while you fish the ratchet in there. Once you get it, you may need to pry this with a screwdriver, or you may be able to just do it with your hands, kind of rotate it back. But this puppy's got to come on off of here. Let me grab a flathead, we'll put it in there, and we'll just give it a little pop. All right, I got me a nice little trim removal tool so we don't damage any plastic. We're just gonna go right in here, and we're gonna pop this puppy out. It's probably gonna take me 2 hands. Oh, no, there we go. And look at that. Wham, bam, dunzo. There is our electromagnet. And it will be hot if you've been running your engine recently, so make sure you grab it out here and be careful. So here we are, electromagnet out. We are ready to pull this VVT out. I'm gonna actually demo it on the new part. This is our specialty toolkit. It has everything to like lock the cams down and do a whole bunch of deeper work, but you're really just looking for this adapter, and you'll look for the one that fits the VVT. It'll have those 2 little studs coming out of it. So let's open up the new part here. Okay, and you'll see, so it will be in the side of the engine this way, in this orientation. And we've got those 2 little nubs. So we'll be putting the two little studs there on our adapter piece on those, and then just turning it. It is left-handed thread, so righty loosey, lefty tighty. What we're going to expect to see, so when we unscrew it and get it out of there, I expect this screen here to be all gummed up and junky with old oil, but we'll check that out when we get it out. So with this fancy little specialty tool here, we can just drop right in, right through here, and do what we need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get this off real quick, and then we'll take a look at it. All right, here we are. It was a little tricky, just in regards to getting your 3/8 ratchet to fit down in there and get your fitting on, but once you get it on there, it's pretty straightforward. Just remember, righty loosey, lefty tighty on this bad boy. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and swap this. It's not nearly as dirty as I thought it would look, but it's also not the cleanest. Also, this middle part, so the way this functions is your electromagnet will press on the center here. I don't know if you can see that or not on the camera, but that little circle should move inwards when the electromagnet presses it. It should be pretty easy. It was pretty gummed up, and it just kind of broke free when I was pressing on it off camera. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna swap this puppy out, and we're gonna see what happens when we fire it up. All right, so before we screw this puppy in, you want to get some oil on your fingers and just kind of gently rub a little bit of oil around it, just to lubricate it up just a smidgen. And now we are ready to screw it in. All right, here we are. Our new actuator is in. No matter how much I've dug through the Audi repair manuals, I cannot find a torque spec for it anywhere. So I got it nice and tight, and looked at where the two nubs were comparative to whenever I started to take it out, and they're in the exact same spot. So we are calling that tight and good. So I got one ooga dooga, and it is in the exact spot it was before we broke it loose to come out. So we're calling that good. So now we get to just slap the electromagnet in, plug it in, and see how she runs. All right, here we are all buttoned up. These T30s that go on the electromagnet are about 9 Newton meters of torque. Well, here we are. We got ourselves a good running engine. It is freaking hot out here today, so that fan's ripping and roaring. But we are within 5 degrees on our intake at idle and what we actually have, which is way better than the like 25 degrees off it was before. So we are fixed. So if this video helped you out, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more.